Okay, how we doing, folks? It is Monday, January 2nd, 2017, giving you our Celtics report. First and foremost, Celtics were able to finish the year. It was 2 weeks ago. I said if they went 5-2, that'd be a nice way to finish the year. They were able to do that. They got to 20 wins in 2016, certainly good there. And they are only 3.5 games behind the Toronto Raptors in the Atlantic Division. Let's see if they can hunt them down. The Raptors are 23-10, splitting the difference between them and the third place team in the Atlantic. The New York Knicks were 7 games behind Toronto and 3.5 back of the Boston Celtics. With the Celtics this year, it's becoming very apparent what their weaknesses are, what they need to work on, what they're good at, and where they need to improve, obviously. Isaiah Thomas certainly playing very well. He, of course, had that 52-point night against the Miami Heat, a career high, highest point total for the Celtics since, I believe it was 2006, when Paul Pierce had 50 points. So he's playing very well. Of course, that came off an Eastern Conference Player of the Week performance where he was averaging 33.3 points per game. So certainly he is right there. Al Horford is the guy. Al Horford has shown me things that I didn't think he was going to be doing. He's played with his back to the basket at times. He's defending the hoop nicely. He's averaging 2 blocks per game. That's not spectacular, but it's good. It's better than they have been averaging. So hats off to him in that regard. Of course, their leading shot blocker from last year was Amir Johnson. He's not even giving you half a block per game. He was over 1 block per game. Amir Johnson is really having a hard time giving the Celtics what they need. For your starting power forward, this is a guy who I don't necessarily care about the points. You'd like to see the points, but he is only averaging 4.4 rebounds per night on 20.1 minutes. They're a bad rebounding team. They need more than that. Kelly Olynyk, a guy who's giving you another 20 minutes at center, he comes off the bench 3.9 rebounds per game. The rebounding has to get better. I felt that they've improved as far as their scheme rebounding. I feel they've competed better. I feel they've been in better position rebounding, but it's still something that they struggle with. Obviously, a secondary scorer to Isaiah Thomas is also something they need. Al Horford has not filled that void, so you're going to have to figure it out. I don't know if it's by trade. We've seen Gerald Green come off the bench. He's been averaging points. Let's see if he can stay hot. That's very important. I think that'll be a key factor in whether the Celtics can make a deep playoff run to the conference championship, or if they'll just maybe be eliminated in the first round or get past the first round and lose a relatively short series moving forward. That's certainly something to keep an eye on. But moving on in 2017, those are the things the Celtics really have to work on, is getting another scorer, their rebounding, not allowing teams to go on runs. They had the Cleveland Cavaliers. They allowed Cleveland to get out and just score points on them early in the third quarter. They were able to come back, cut it close, get it to 1 at times. But it's very strange with the Celtics that you see them, they allow teams to go on big runs, but yet they're able to just come back and go on a run themselves. I know basketball is a game of runs, but we're not talking about 12-2 runs, and I think I've said this before, or a 10-0 run, or a 9-1 run, or even more extended to the point of like a 16-5, 17-5, 17-7 sort of run. We're talking about runs of like 25-8, things like that. This team is too good offensively and frankly too professional to be allowing teams to do that to them. They've got to be able to figure that out and prevent that. Certainly, I think another scorer would help, and Gerald Green is going to have to help that bench. So those are the things to look forward to moving on. As far as their schedule moving forward, they have the Utah Jazz coming into town tomorrow night. The Jazz are playing very well. That's a home game. They played a lot of road games in December, yet they've played 20 road games thus far this season to 14 home games. They're 12-8 on the road, 8-6 at home, so that home record's going to have to improve. After Utah, which is a tough game, Philadelphia and New Orleans coming to Boston. You have to win those 2 games. I'd like them to beat Utah, obviously, but they cannot lose to Philadelphia, cannot lose to New Orleans. At Toronto would be nice to get another signature win if they can beat Utah. If they don't, they have to start getting those signature wins. Of course, they are like 0-9 against teams with better records. Washington, Atlanta, Charlotte, then the Knicks and Portland, Washington, Houston, Orlando, at Milwaukee, and then versus Detroit. That finishes out the month. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games in January. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them at home. Looking at the teams they're playing, you got tough ones with Houston. You've got a tough one with Utah. Portland, you don't know coming back into town. But for a team that struggled at home, I don't see any reason they can't go 11-3 at home against these teams moving forward. And frankly, if this team is what we hope they are, then they should. On the road, Toronto, Atlanta, Washington, Milwaukee. Those are the 4 games. I don't see any reason why they can't split those. You're looking at what should be a 13-5, possibly a 14-6, maybe. If they're able to get some of these signature wins at home, I could see them going 13-1, 3-1 on the road, or 13-1, 2-2 on the road, or 12-2, 3-1. They might be able to get a 15-win month and start springboarding themselves forward. There's nothing that I look at the schedule and say they shouldn't be coming out of this month. Out of the 15 games they're playing, or it's more than that. It's 14 at home of the 18 games that they're playing this month where they can't go and win at least 11 or 12. And frankly, I'd like to see more than that. So that's what we have to look forward to with the Celtics. We know what the weaknesses are. We know what their strengths are moving forward. Let's see if they can get the job done. All right, moving forward this week, we're going to give you playoff previews, playoff storylines. Don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. That's for the NFL, of course. But be sure to stay tuned for that. We're not done with the holidays, so we're moving forward into the new year strong. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you later.